Marvel writers love ruining Spider-Man's life. Joe Quesada made Peter Parker sell his marriage to the devil and ruin his happily ever after with MJ. Zeb Wells introduced the most hated character in comics who and slaps Peter named Paul, and Howard Mackie made Peter kiss an underage girl. And just as a cherry on top, Tom Brevoort said that Marvel will never allow Peter to marry MJ. Yet, out of all these people, Dan Slott and his run gets the most amount of hate from the fanbase. Throughout his more than a decade run on Amazing Spider-Man, he managed to make the character a and someone who isn't afraid of torturing. Turned Black Cat into a full-on villain instead of her being an attractive anti-hero with a heart of gold, and completely sidelined Mary Jane for Peter to explore his other romantic interests, which influenced the future writers to do the same thing. He would also use his social media to troll the people criticizing his comics, basically saying, "I'm the one writing the story, what you gonna do about it?" But on the other hand, he introduced Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Punk, and the entire concept for Spider-Verse, which is a hot topic for Marvel's current era. You see, when Dan got to write Amazing Spider-Man, he was put in a very tough place with advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage was that he was assigned to write the series right after Quesada made Peter sell his marriage to the devil and rebooted the series, which pissed off a lot of fans. In other words, people were not excited for his run at all. But on the other hand, the advantage was that since Marvel couldn't afford people losing interest in their most valuable and recognizable asset, Spider-Man, they gave Dan a decade worth of time to do whatever he wants to do with the story and the characters to make it more consistent. And since he was an exceptional writer who's worked for both Marvel and DC and had plenty of experience writing superheroes, he could have easily brought the hype back for Spider-Man comics, right? Well, not really. For starters, he got rid of most of the main cast to tell his own version of the story. For example, he wasted no time getting rid of Harry by saying he moved out of New York for whatever reason. Then gave us this page, basically laughing to any Spider-Man fan's face who thought these two would get together in his 10-year run on Spider-Man. Then he introduced Silk as Peter's love interest, with the reasoning behind it being nothing more than, well, they got bitten by the same spider, so they can't stop now. And now all I'm thinking is, would Peter have dropped his heterosexuality if instead of an attractive lady, Silk was a dude? Like, no wonder Dan came back and admitted Peter and Silk's relationship was a mistake. He didn't think that one through at all. He also made Silver Sable nothing more than Peter's cheerleader, and as I said, made Black Cat turn into a complete psycho supervillain because Superior Spider-Man betrayed him. Yet she never even considers that maybe this is not the same guy I've been sleeping with for years since, you know, he dresses up differently and has a different attitude. And speaking of Superior Spider-Man, even though nowadays he's accepted amongst the fandom, back when he was first introduced, he was very controversial. He's Doc Ock using Peter's body to announce himself as the superior and better version of Spider-Man, and has really creepy and questionable scenes with MJ. And Dan was adding insult to the injury by saying that, yeah, I basically used Peter as the meat puppet of the story. Dan also admitted that he loves heroes of DC Comics, so he tried to make Peter's life more miserable in his run to, I guess, make him more likable, which ultimately failed. But that being said, Dan laid the grounds for many things that Spider-Man is known for, and his work will always be remembered as a huge drifting point in Spider-Man's history, for better or worse. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of him. Please let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.